without further ado, Joel, let's talk about Ahsoka
Talk
because
about growing up on stuff and the
yeah,
absolute payoff
yeah,
for
exactly,
years of watching things
yeah.
all
So
culminate in one episode.
it is very clear, Joel, very
Yeah,
clear that whatever involvement Kathleen Kennedy has had with Star Wars, you can feel that there's little to none in this show.
yeah, her hands are coming off.
Yep, yep. I am so happy because again, this is so good because it's so good, and I am enjoying it so much, and I man again, this was the way to do it. Like this is this episode right here again, and I kind of and we talked about it before, and I predicted it, and we talked about it with the with when the show started that this was the correct way to pass the baton to the next generation,
Yes,
not ham-fist Ray, who's great at everything with no training, with no personal struggles, with nothing, right? And just be perfect, right? This should have been the sequel trilogy.
mm,
It should have been
mm.
Ahsoka after episode after Return of the Jedi, just
Right.
trying to figure out what happened with Ezra, leading up to the Thrawn thing and leading up to whatever the culmination of
It
this
would have
is.
started with that.
That this should have been the start.
Oh my
Straight
goodness,
up,
dude.
straight up, right? You know what? And I can add to this, right? And I totally get that the fans
Wow.
really do like the fans really did want Han, Luke, and Leia back together.
Hmm.
Um, I'm gonna make a
I like
controversial
it.
statement, right? I would I would have rather seen this than a excuse my language half-assed attempt at having Luke, Han, and Leia back together.
Yeah,
I
yeah.
would have rather have them not include them at all and have something like this. Old school fan right here. 1983, I was rocking that Return of Jedi poster in my room. So, guys, yeah, go ahead, man.
And we would have still been mad, like,
Yeah,
oh,
yeah, yeah.
why isn't Luke doing this? So, but what we would have been getting would have been great content. So you can overlook that stuff, or you could say it comes later. You earn it.
Yep, yeah, yeah, man. It was excellent. It was excellent. It was excellent.
Man,
I think that Hayden Christensen was really good, and it was really great to see him as Anakin for like 30 minutes again, and it was awesome, right? I think that they're really setting up something for Jason that's a big deal kind of scenario. Like he may be the true Padawan and not Sabine, after all,
hmm.
right? That the Padawan when Anakin and Ahsoka are talking in the flashback, like he may be the one, not Sabine. And man, I just liked how, dude. And I know that you can tell that there was budget constraints, but they really worked around it really well with the flashbacks, and everything was great. And it's really great to see Hayden Christensen again do his moves because there's a very distinctive movement that he has, right?
Yes,
And it was great, man. It was
yes,
so good, dude. Like I have no negatives, right? Now we're starting to like the meat of the show,
yes.
and I have no complaints. Really like the on the nose Lord of the Ring references with Ahsoka's like transition. Like it's super on the nose, right?
Absolutely.
Because I mean, come on. Let's talk about it, right?
Go.
I don't think that was. And I was talking to a coworker of ours this morning, and I don't think that was the world between worlds that she was in. I think she actually died, and she was in the nether realm of the Force, not the world between worlds.
Wow.
And that's how she was able to communicate with Anakin. Remember Yoda when he told Obi Wan in uh, when they were in Organa's ship. It's like an old friend came back from the nether realm of the forest, and it was Qui-Gon, right? So
Yeah.
so that's basically like Jedi heaven. Like that's where they go when they die.
Hmm.
And
It's an interesting theory.
and
Wow.
that's why there's no changes to lore, there's no time travel thing. You get flashbacks because through the force, you see many things, the past, the future, all friends long gone, right? So
Wow.
it's that's where she was. She actually died, and she came back Gandalf style, and
Oh,
then and then
completely.
and then and then she became Ahsoka the White, as everyone's calling her.
Right.
So that's my theory on that, right? That's I think where she ended up at. Not really. That was not the world between worlds. That was the Northern Realm of the Force. So
Mhm.
and what she saw in flashbacks, right, with Clone Wars, right, it was part of, like, again, you can see through the Force, you can see the past and you can see the future. So you can see these things, right, that helped Anakin, who that was truly Anakin's Force ghost inside the another realm of the Force,
Mm.
teach her the lessons that she needed to hear, so she can not necessarily finish her training as he said, but to understand that, yeah, you don't want to fight, but it is necessary to keep fighting if you want to
Mm-hmm.
this legacy to continue. So
Mm-hmm.
that's my big thing with that. But I don't know if you want to add anything else.
Interesting you say about it not being the world between worlds. I I s- it's hard for me to fully wrap my head around what fully was transpiring because and that's something I actually like. That's what makes me like about this show and like about even just this episode because every time like, oh, next week we're gonna get this answer. You get an answer, but a question comes with the same answer, like at the same time. It's a trade-off where you feel like you always have more questions than you do answers every time we progress, but it's progress still. And I think that's actually like a really strong point.
Yeah,
I think you think of shows like Loki and WandaVision, this is Marvel, not talking about necessarily Star Wars, but like those are the things that really helped it to really, be very strong and people be intrigued by what's going on because there's something that's being built up to. And this is not even just a build up, but it's like like Star Wars fans, we come off sometimes like we know everything that's gonna come about, but Dave Filoni's the guy who he just makes stuff new in Star Wars like he respects what was, but he gives us something new. And I feel like this is like a training for us, like as fans, almost like of us trying to learn something new, a new way, a new level in Star Wars
yeah.
that we don't fully see and understand before.
And the thing is that he makes it new without having to break the lore, which what
For
that's what
sure.
happened with the sequel trilogy, right?
Right.
So he makes it work within the confines of established lore, and he doesn't have to come up with like the super Jedi that's great at everything, and you know, and you know, uh, the plot holes that are
Yeah.
surround the
Yeah.
entire thing, right? So, I mean,
Yeah. He's
there's always been plot holes, right? But
oh, sure.
but the they deepened with the sequel trilogy.
No, I agree. They're really building like he's building on what was, right? It's only expanding the world and I love that. I think that when I think about the way they used Hayden, I'm not 100% sure that that even was Anakin. Um, and I'm not 100% sure that it wasn't Anakin. Like I'm very much in the gray. I mean, if they went to the things that I think it could be, and I think we talked about this last week a little bit, like it would get so sweaty that fans would be like really excited and casuals would be very confused, which are already a lot of people were very confused. Like
Yeah, yeah,
what? Like where is she at this astral plane and then like her old master showed up and what is going on and whatever. But yeah, like I do wonder if it's still like the Mortis thing. Like I do wonder if this is like somehow like the spirit of Mortis. Like
connected
I
to
don't know
Mortis.
exactly
Okay,
how because that again that she was resurrected. People forget she died. Like that's something that people that's definitely canon to this. And that it very much was the force trying to speak to her using her past present future like you mentioned kind of in that that heavenly realm that exists there. Um, I just love that they took the time to not just have a flashback for the sake of like fan service, like the whole like let's go to Mandalore, and let's see like the specific like Vader moments. Like don't just jump to these moments just to have them, but they were really critical moments, pillar moments to her as a character and to the lesson that they were trying to say. And like you said, the whole point of this whole thing is like he says the first thing is he draws his lightsaber and he says to her, "Do you want to live?" And I think that's the question that he's asking her in this moment. She, for all that time, was surviving, not living. And she needed to go from the place of, I'm not fighting to survive. I am now fighting to live. And I'm
Yeah.
living for something bigger than myself.
Yep.
I'm living because she's like, I'm feel mad. All these people are dying because of us. No, they're going to live because of you. Like you are going to literally save lives through the battle that you're fighting. And it's a very strong calling that she has through the force it's asking her this question: what are you going to do with the powers that you have and with the place and time that you're in? And you carry all the lessons that I have. That's what Anakin tells her. You are all the things that I've learned and now more. There is this legacy that's being carried on, and the question that's being asked her that is so profound about, do you want to live? Do you want to carry this on now to the next? Which also leads you to, like you mentioned, the Padawan thing, right? And it is very possible that they'll do a switcheroo. It is very possible that the lesson's going to be that she always thought that Sabine maybe would be the one, and Sabine's going to say like, "Look, I'm me. I'm a Mandalorian. Like, thanks for the trainings, what you did teach me." And she's talented, she's skilled, but maybe it's supposed to be Jason. Personally, I think that Jason will be trained by Ezra. I think that's the setup that
Okay.
they'll
Okay.
go into. But like I think you're on to a point. Like it very well could be what you theorize. There's so many things about this episode. Even like was it like halfway through you're done with the whole world between world stuff, and then there's the second half. You're basically going into the Purgle and
Yeah.
all this other
Yeah.
stuff that's really cool. So it just felt like they used their time really well. And next episode being, was it the sixth episode? Like
Yeah.
guys, we have 3 episodes left for the finale, and the way they set up this last one felt like the next episode to me could have been the finale. I don't know about you, Obed, but I felt
Yeah.
like it could just jump to it, and I like that.
It's setting up a third act, and
Eh,
yeah, it was very well done. It was very very well done. So it's great to see Star Wars back, dude. I am so relieved. I don't wanna. I don't want to do. I don't want to have a victory lap just yet, right? Because
Yeah, I know, I
we got
know.
3 episodes to go, right? Um, but I feel that they're going to end up delivering what we wanted and what Star Wars needed. So
So I
yeah,
think just a prediction from now, Obed. I think Thrawn is not going to be the main big bad. They're going to set up a bigger big bad coming in beyond this.
a bigger batter.
I don't be surprised if it is
Yeah.
like a Star Killer type character or something. Don't be surprised they're setting something up for something bigger going into the future of these
Okay.
shows, like kind of like your Tarkin and your Vader kind of thing.
Yeah. I mean, they could totally. Yeah.
Because
They could be
Thrawn could
setting
have
up.
been trying to do that, to bring back something that would help him restore his
Yeah.
empire.
They could be setting up Snoke, like for all we know,
For
right?
sure, for sure.
It could be, and you know, it's unfortunate to go back and revisit that. It's painful memory, but you know, it,
That's what people said about the prequels, bro. And then like some things now in
look
hindsight,
at
you do it
yeah,
right, it
yeah,
makes it
yeah,
things better.
yeah. It did it. Yeah, I mean, and again, I'm dunking on the sequel trilogy, right? And with rightfully so, but we've talked about it many times on the show. Like we still enjoyed them. Like I still enjoyed
For
them,
sure,
you know,
for sure.
and, and yeah, they have problems, right? That are we cannot be such fanboys as to say, oh no, they're great and there's no problems with them. There are glaring defects to the story as a whole
Yeah, yeah,
and characters, right? But at the end of the day, I did enjoy them and I had a great time. So
yeah.
I'm very happy, man. This is it's so good. I can't wait for the next episode. It was excellent. It was excellent. I'm really excited. So,
Absolutely.
like, if there's gonna be a movie with like this type of thing with it, Dave's movie is gonna be basically like a combination of this and Mando. That would be, yeah, man, it's nuts. It's gonna be special. So, I'm hoping that they continue with the quality. I guess we'll find out soon, right? And
Yeah.
you know, if Kathleen Kennedy stays, again, my prediction is like we got what, another about a month and a half.
Yeah.
So we'll see.